Neil Donald Walsh once said that life begins at the end of your comfort zone. That sounds so inspirational, but what does it really mean? The comfort zone is defined as a psychological state in which a person feels at ease because he's not being tested. It is where we feel comfortable, sheltered, and cozy. It is the charge we all look for when our batteries are going low. When you're inside of your comfort zone, you tend not to try any new experiences or take on any challenges. As a result, you only engage in activities that are familiar to you, making you feel in control of your environment. This way, stress and anxiety is avoided, and it is natural for us humans to avoid these feelings. However, I'm here to tell you that your comfort zone is a dangerous place. It is what prevents you from changing and achieving all the things you're capable of. You may have talents that you aren't even aware of right now and will never be aware of unless you take opportunities for growth and push through the discomfort to learn and improve yourself. Stepping out of your comfort zone is a daily practice of daring to feel uncomfortable, which is essential for when you want to reach your goals. However, the comfort zone does vary from person to person, as different people have different anxiety and stress levels. Today, I am outside of my comfort zone, working towards my goal of improving in public speaking and inspiring others with my ideas. Now we want everybody to think of a personal goal. This could be making a much-needed change to your daily routine or acquiring a new skill, for instance. Once you have a goal in mind, I want you to identify what is holding you back from reaching it, because awareness is the first step towards growth. You have to realize that you're staying in your comfort zone and that it's not doing you any good. When I was 9 years old, my mother's job forced my family and I to move from the Netherlands to Germany. And moving to Germany without knowing the language or having any friends filled me out with fear and compelled me out of my comfort zone, which put me into our next zone, the fear zone. Here, you start to become anxious. You lose self-confidence and procrastinate more. It feels like constantly having a cloud that covers your ideas and goals. This is also where resistance comes in. Resistance cannot be seen, heard, touched, or smelled, but it can be felt. Everyone who has a body experiences it, and it's always negative. Resistance is that voice in your head that will tell you anything to keep you in your comfort zone. It will bully, falsify, perjure, and persuade you if that's what it takes to deceive you into staying in your comfort zone. It will reason with you like a lawyer, pledge anything to get a deal, then double-cross you as soon as your back is turned. Like when that voice tells you, let's not go to the gym today. You're too tired, you're sore, and just not motivated enough. It's not a big deal though, it's just a day. See it as an extra rest day, it won't matter, we'll just go tomorrow. And on top of that, resistance never sleeps. Take Henry Fonda as an example. He was an American stage and film actor, and at the age of 75, he was still throwing up each night before a stage performance. So in other words, fear does not go away, and to battle it, you must remind yourself why you committed to your goal in the first place. Because reasons create desire, and with desire, you'll be much more likely to push through tougher times. So you have to start with the why, and then suspend all self-judgment. You're allowed to mess up as much as you like. We're human after all. And when you hear that little voice in your head, blow it off. What matters most is that you get something done, however flawed or imperfect that may be. If you're a student, the next time a teacher asks a question to the class and you think you know the answer, but don't want to say something wrong or are scared of what others might think of you, I strongly urge you to take the risk and raise your hand. No one cares that much. Everyone's just too focused on themselves. And even if you're wrong, at least you participated. Now for those of you who procrastinate a lot, I have a tip for you. Personally, I use it whenever I feel lazy. It is the 2-minute rule, which entails you genuinely convincing yourself that you're only going to do a certain task for 2 minutes. And if you want, you're allowed to stop after it, because 2 minutes is better than nothing. Though this proves effective, as most of the time you will decide to continue. This is because resistance is higher at the start. Once you begin, you create momentum and get the ball rolling, which makes it easier to keep going. Next to resistance, in the fear zone, you are also affected by the opinions of others. And whether it's words from haters or well-meaning friends, there will always be skeptics who criticize. But not everyone who challenges your ideas or abilities is doubting you, as some of their feedback can be constructive. The key here is to recognize when you should completely ignore the criticism, when to simply acknowledge it, almost like saying, "Hey, I see you, but stay over there," when it's actually beneficial to use. Now there's an incentive to leave your comfort zone called self-actualization. According to Dr. Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, self-actualization means that how you see the best version of yourself matches with what you actually do. It is the realization of one's full potential and the development of one's abilities. This you can do by expanding your professional skill set, for instance, for a competitive advantage. Public speaking, negotiation, and leadership are big challenges for most people. You can also build new habits, such as reading books, journaling, trying a healthier diet, or setting up a fitness goal. So once you have desire, a goal with a reason behind it, know not to give in to resistance, and how to handle criticism, you start learning so much easier. That's why our next zone is called the learning zone. Here, you start to learn, acquire new skills and habits, and improve them. These skills and abilities allow you to expand your boundaries, thus broadening the spectrum of your comfort zone. Things that you felt uncomfortable doing in the past aren't anymore, as they are now within your comfort zone. For example, when you first try a new activity, you might feel stressed or anxious. But after doing it for a while, you don't anymore, as the boundaries of your comfort zone slowly expand. Going back to me moving to Germany, after not giving in to resistance, I started taking countless German lessons in the learning zone so that it wouldn't affect any of my other subjects, which required me to speak German. And not long after, I could speak it fluently. It was indeed the most uncomfortable experience of my life, but it had allowed me to grow, which leads us to our last zone, the growth zone. This is where you become of new opportunities and have paved your way to reach the best version of yourself. Your newly developed habits become routine, and you can set up new goals. After learning from the challenges of change, of moving to Germany, I had grown as a person and can now speak 5 different languages. Today, I set up new objectives for me to further grow. What I'm about to say is what I want you to take home with you today. Opportunities to step out of your comfort zone are easy to spot. The hard part is taking them on. And fear is normal. You have to recognize this and be ready for it next time you leave your comfort zone so that you can easier overcome it. Now, when it comes to criticism, you have to recognize and only use it when it's constructive, so that it doesn't cause any harm, but leads to improvement. In life, there are 2 choices available to all of us. Either stick to what you're used to, the known and familiar, or become open to opportunities for growth, challenging yourself and seeing what you're capable of. Practicing the second option throughout your life will provide you with numerous benefits. Nevertheless, randomly doing things simply for the sake of leaving your comfort zone might lead to some growth, but you'll likely return towards comfort. But if you have a strong enough reason to push through the discomfort for a certain goal, then you'll be much more likely to succeed in it. Or, to put it in Nietzsche's words, he who has a strong enough why can bear almost any how. My name is Attila and Ersin, and I was afraid to present this talk, yet here I am out of my comfort zone. I didn't know if I was capable of doing so, but by taking the risk, I have now opened doors for my future. I hope to have given you an insight on how to reach the growth zone. And so, going back to Mr. Walsh's quote from the beginning, I want you to ask yourself whether you are ready to begin living. Thank you.